You know.
That's right. All right. So we just met recently, but I've known you by reputation. I
Okay.
mean, you've been from all your public service and your charity and your various involvements in the Republican Party.
Yes.
And so, what prompted you to get into this crazy world of running a political campaign?
So, as you know, Scott, I ran 5 years ago,
Uh huh.
and I ran as a Democrat, which was the biggest mistake of the decade or the century,
Oh
or at
wow.
least in my lifetime.
Uh huh.
And I ran for Constable Precinct 3 and found out in the first about 4 months that I made a big mistake, only because of the value system, the principles
Yeah.
um, based on faith
Uh
do not align with the Democrat Party. Locally, the Democrat Party, or at least, wanted to just use me as a pawn, only because of race, religion, creed, ethnicity, nationality, all of the above. Uh, in the primary, I did not make it.
huh.
I got 43% of the votes and did not make it. And right after that, in August 2020, one of my very close friends invited me and asked me to help Congressman Troy Nehls in his first race,
Uh
or
huh.
first time race for Congress. So I joined
Uh
the team and started helping them. And Congressman or Sheriff Troy Nehls at that time won and became Congressman Troy Nehls.
Yeah.
And after that, after that election cycle of November 2020, I just got involved in the local
Uh huh.
Republican Party and then decided that I was going to run for sheriff in 2024.
Uh huh.
So, sorry to give you a long-winded answer
No,
in
that's
regards
okay.
to why,
No, that's
I
a good answer.
chose
Yeah.
to run this campaign, but the decision was made 3 years ago,
Uh huh.
or a little over 3 years ago, that we would actually run this campaign.
Uh huh.
And we started executing on the campaign starting in December of 2022. So, a
Yeah.
little over 13 months, we decided that we were going to go ahead and run this campaign. And sincerely, we decided as a team to run this campaign because we need more Republicans at the local level. And we need more Republicans who are straightforward, sincere, and the only reason they're running is for the people, we the people.
Uh huh.
No other ulterior motives.
Yeah.
Specifically for myself, my only ulterior motive to run this race is do good for the people. And for the people, irrespective of whether they're Republicans or Democrats. It doesn't matter whether they're independents. It doesn't matter if they're white, Hispanic, black, Asian, multicultural. It's for the people, because who does not want to live in a society, in a county, that where you can roam around, drive around freely with not worrying about that it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I shouldn't be outside,
Yeah. Hmm.
you know? And I truly believe that in order to do that, you need to have someone in office who wants to do the right thing, irrespective of whether that's going to be popular or not.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of things that people do not agree with, but
Uh
that is the right thing to do based on rules, based on laws, based on the Constitution.
Yeah.
So I'm not an individual who likes to be politically correct.
That's
I
good.
mean, if you spend some time or ask other individuals who have been with me following on social media and other events and so forth, I will be the last person who will be politically correct, because I believe when you're politically correct, you miss the whole message of what you're trying to convey to the people of the community.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Yeah. And it's typically the Democrats that are trying to divide people up by their race, their ethnicity, or by their religion. But oddly enough, I heard about you getting into the race from I was working on a fundraiser. It was for Matt Morgan when oh was it Ken Paxton was in town,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the other volunteers was like, are you following the sheriff's race?
Mm-hmm.
I go, not very closely. Why? They said, well, there's this one guy running named Slot who I'm supporting,
Right.
and the other guy is Mo. I go, yeah, Mo. I know him. But, everybody knows who that guy is. And she leans in, and she goes, no. Well, what is it for me? I was like, Well, what exactly does that mean? Is he,
Right,
if this is a grand conspiracy, it's the longest con I've ever seen in my life because he's done more for the Republican Party, certainly than she had, or
right,
than most people have, you know?
right.
So you've been dedicated to serving the Republican Party. You've proven yourself in that way. But that is, fear is a very powerful motivator.
Yes,
And that's like the attack vector that they've used, as far as I can tell.
yes.
So how do you answer that question?
Thank you for bringing that up because there is a very small percentage of Republicans, and often people like to label them as racist. I actually don't. I'm a little more broad-minded individual
Uh-huh.
because I don't like to play that race card, and I don't like to call someone a racist when really they're not racist. In my opinion, they're narrow-minded.
Yeah.
Okay, so certain individuals, very few again, have asked me, well, when elected as sheriff, are you going to introduce the Sharia law? So I'm like, guys,
Yeah,
let's.
that's what I said. Really? How long have you heard of him helping people in this community?
So I'm like, guys, let's take a break over here.
Mhm.
Firstly, Sharia law cannot be introduced in United States of America because of various other reasons.
Yeah.
Because it's not an easy process.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Secondly, I'm running for an office that is not a legislative office, whether at a county level or a state level or at a federal level. I'm running for an enforcement office. I'm running for a custodian office. I'm running for an office that executes and enforces the rules and regulations and the laws that are already on the books. I, as a candidate, God willing, elected as the sheriff, I do not have the opportunity or the privilege to actually write laws. I have to enforce the laws that are already on the books. So that's number one. Number two, I want to make it very clear to people who are watching uh, that as a Muslim, we believe any Muslim around the globe, in United States, in Texas, in Fort Bend County believes Christians, let me take a step back. Jews, Christians, and Muslims are of the Abrahamic faith.
Yeah, three
We,
branches from the same tree.
yes,
That's what I think too. That's the way I
yes,
believe.
we have our differences,
Yeah.
but our similarities are way more than the differences.
We're worshiping the same God, the God of Abraham.
Exactly. There's only one God
Yeah.
that you may call God in English, you may call Allah in Arabic, you may call something else in Persian, Khuda in Persian,
Uh-huh.
and a lot more. I don't know everything in different languages, but it's ultimately God. It is God. You know,
Yes.
and I want to share this with your viewers that a lot of people in the Arab world who are Christians,
Uh-huh.
they refer God as Allah.
Uh-huh.
Someone actually reads the Sharia law
Uh-huh.
and actually reads the U.S. Justice law, and you compare, it's actually very similar.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there's death penalty in the
Yeah.
Sharia law. There's death penalty in the U.S. law.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's some, punishments that are very, very, to the extreme.
Uh-huh.
Like in Saudi Arabia, I don't know if it still happens or not, but the one that is very famous is if you steal something, they cut off your hands. Do did they do in the past? Yes, they did. I don't know what's the current situation. I don't follow
Uh-huh.
them, but the little research that I did, yes, that was true. Uh, so my point, what I'm trying to make over here is, yes, I am a person of faith. Yes, I am a Muslim. Yes, I believe in one God,
Uh-huh.
the only creator, and I believe that you have to do good by people, irrespective of whether they're Jews, Christians, atheists, if they're Hindus, Buddhists, whatever faith they follow. You need to respect that.
Uh-huh.
You need to make sure that you protect them because that's their freedom. Nothing can be done by compulsion,
Uh-huh.
and you leave it at that
Yeah.
and let them do what they want to do. Those,
Uh-huh.
that's part of our constitution, the freedom.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, and thanks for addressing that. Like I said, it's uncomfortable to bring it up, but it's
Oh
better
no,
talked about directly than
yes,
indirectly,
yes.
you
I
know.
mean, And I think that's what has happened in our society nowadays. It's like, uh, and that was part of the reason that I got so involved in the Republican Party because of the false narrative that the Democrats have been putting out, at least that I've been hearing the last 30 years, that Republicans are racist, Republicans are this, Republicans are that. They don't like minorities. They don't like. No, so you have good people and bad people
Right.
in all organizations, all parties. I just think that the Republican Party aligns more with people of faith, of whatever faith they are,
Yep.
because I don't know of any religion
Hmm.
that promotes same sex marriage.
Yeah.
I don't know of any religion that promotes abortion. I don't know of any religion to challenge God's creation of the sex at birth
Yeah.
to change that. I don't know any religion that promotes uh, non-family setting.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't know any religion. I've asked this question to many people
Yeah.
if they know, and so that I could get educated.
Well, I think the campaign that you worked on, the Nels campaign,
Hmm.
I think that might have been at the heart of some of his success too, because he worked in all communities. He didn't turn his back on any community.
Yes,
And Fort Bend has become, from a practical standpoint, you really can't because the Muslim community is a large constituency.
yes,
And so the people who are trying to put blinders on and say that it can only be a certain way and we have to exclude certain religions, they're never going to be able to win any elections. And I think that's been part of the problem in Fort Bend is that the Democrats have always been about separating people by those things, but the Republican Party, in some ways, has also been to their own detriment.
yes.
And,
So just to put some, because I like to talk about numbers and figures and facts
uh,
rather than just loosely talking, because in my opinion, talk is cheap, and
sure,
when you can back it up with some statistics, it's useless.
absolutely.
So there are 900,000 people in Fort Bend County.
Uh-huh.
300,000 of them have been born and raised in Fort Bend County. The other 300,000 are born outside of Fort Bend County, and the last 300,000 are born outside of the United States.
Wow,
With
that's a very interesting statistic.
Yes, and this is as of 2021, I believe, or 2022. These numbers. Uh, Now, the important piece is that there are about almost close to 100,000 Muslims that live in Fort Bend County.
Uh-huh.
One third of them, a little over 30,000, are registered voters in Fort Bend County. And majority of them traditionally, unfortunately, in Fort Bend County have been voting Democrat because since 9/11 happened. And this is our chance now to educate them, which I've been trying to do for the last 3 years,
Yeah.
to educate them and let them know of everything that is in alignment with the Republican Party as people of faith. I will be very comfortable to say that as a person of faith, we align 70 to 75% with the Republican Party.
Yeah, and I think a lot of other constituencies are the same, but I mean, you could say it's social pressures, or you could say it's some people are narrow-minded. But whenever I sit down with somebody, I was on the outreach committee in the last election cycle. I can identify with anybody that's a person of faith. We did outreach and events, and that was the main thing that tied everybody together.
Hmm.
That I think would tie them more intuitively to the Republican Party for sure.
Right, and I believe that as a country, as a county,
Hmm.
as people of this county, we need to understand and we need to look at the bigger picture. We need to know where our country is, especially the last 3 years.
Hmm.
It's been very detrimental. I
Absolutely.
mean, at the national level, at the state level.
I'm sorry, keep talking. Yeah, it's been very detrimental the last couple of years. Gotcha. I want to make sure I'm still recording. I don't want to miss any of this. I'm a little
So,
new to this, so I'm still trying to figure everything
so it's
out.
been very detrimental for us as people of the community at the national level, at the state level, and at local level.
Uh-huh.
And it's very imperative for people of this county to realize that not only do you need someone from the Republican Party to get elected in positions across the board in Fort Bend County, plus you need individuals who are actually can go toe to toe with anything that is non-constitutional. And if little that you know about me, that's one thing I'm very comfortable doing. And people mistake my passion with aggression, and that's not the case. I mean, I'm a police officer by profession. I'm a businessman by profession. I have been doing these tasks in different setups to be aggressive as needed, when needed,
Uh-huh.
uh, so that certain tasks can be completed.
Yes.
Now, I'm not being aggressive because I'm an aggressor. No, I'm being aggressive because the duties require you to be one in certain settings.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in politics, sometimes it's sometimes you have to be more forceful or aggressive in order to achieve your objectives, and there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. I mean, I think that's perfectly
Absolutely.
fine. Yeah.
And I've told this in the past. I mean, if you're looking for someone to be your preacher or to be your youth council or to be your, a counselor for elderly individuals, then, you know, uh, I'm not the guy.
Yeah.
But if you want someone who is going to actually use the Constitution and keep it close to their heart and enforce that and enforce the rules and regulations that are already on the books, then I'm your guy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all rings very true, and that all sounds. I think in this era too that I think that that's one of the reasons. Now, Trump didn't resonate so well in Fort Bend County,
Hmm.
but I think that's one of the reasons why his message resonated so well on the national level. He's like, we're going to cut out all the bullshit and
Right,
quit lying about things and quit trying to make everybody feel comfortable. Quit being politically correct and start
right,
telling the truth again.
right. I mean, you hit it right on there. I mean, uh, I like to talk without all the fluff.
Yep.
I like to talk and give you examples that I can back it up with some facts and statistics so that it makes sense to you rather than telling you just because it feels good to your ears.
Uh-huh.
Like, often people ask me, hey, what are you going to fix when elected as the sheriff of Fort
Uh-huh.
Bend County day one? I said, absolutely nothing.
Uh-huh.
They're like, what? I said, it's just impossible for anyone to fix anything on day one.
Right.
If they tell you whatever they will tell you just because it's going to soothe your ears, then sure. But no, but you give me 90 on the 91st day, I will give you statistics with everything that's been fixed or repaired and achieved on the 91st day
Uh-huh.
because I'm a realist. I like to set milestones and goals that are achievable,
Uh-huh.
not just tell Scott that, oh, yes, I'm going to make it to Dallas in 2.5 hours. It's impossible for me to make it to Dallas in 2.5 hours from here.
Uh-huh.
Best, I'll be making it in 4 hours, but I'm going to back it up with some facts and statistics with what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and how I'm going to accomplish it. So I mean, the biggest problem in Fort Bend County is there's no presence of the sheriff's office in the unincorporated areas
Uh-huh.
because of the lack of the deputies. You know, I will be blowing smoke if I told you, Scott,
Uh-huh.
that I'm going to fix that in the first 90 days. No, I will not be able to fix that in the first 90 days
Uh-huh.
in hiring more deputies. But in the first 12 months, yes, it's going to be a difference of night and day.
Nice.
You know,
Uh-huh.
you give me 12 months and that problem is going to be fixed. There are no qualms about it. And in regards to the police presence and the sheriff's office presence on the unincorporated areas,
Uh-huh.
that is going to be fixed in 90 days. And I have a plan for that, how it's going to be fixed in 90 days.
Uh-huh.
I mean, people often say that I'm very politically connected and I'm very, have presence, but that is for a reason.
Yeah.
The only reason is for the people of Fort Bend County. It's not for my benefit.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a very small business that has any footprint in Fort Bend County
Uh-huh.
that does not require any government help.
Right.
Majority of our family businesses are all in Harris County.
Uh-huh.
So there is what I'm doing does not give me any returns besides the only fact that I get to sleep well at night thinking that I was able to do a little for
Uh-huh.
the community, and I can do that. I've been building these relationships for the last 5 years
Hmm.
with the only motive that it is eventually and is right now, slowly but surely, helping the people of Fort Bend County.
Yeah, I'm so glad to hear all that. So in the last election cycle, was it Trevor that ran, right?
Yes,
Wait, I think I've got his head right here. That was his campaign.
yes, for county judge.
Yeah. Oh, for county judge, though. It
Yes,
was for sheriff. Okay.
yeah.
So you worked on his brother's campaign, and then have you stayed in touch with Troy?
Yes, so after working on Troy's campaign, I actually worked for the local district office,
Uh huh.
working for Congressman Troy Nels
Oh, sweet.
as one of the outreach coordinators. And I did that for 2021, 2022. And then, as you know, in 2022, the areas and the lines changed,
Uh huh.
the demographics changed. So, Congressman Nels did not need those outreach coordinator positions, to be filled.
Yes.
Um, so starting January 1st, 2023, I
Hmm.
was not part of it. Um, I did also help Trevor when he ran for sheriff in 2020,
Hmm.
and then I helped on his campaign with whatever I could do
Uh huh.
in the Muslim community in 2022 also.
Uh huh.
Um, are we in touch? Not so much right now
Hmm.
during this election cycle, but we still talk off and on.
Uh huh. Yeah. One thing that struck me about you is whenever I see you out on the campaign trail or whenever I see you around, you always have your friends with you, and you always look like you're having fun.
Yes.
Almost no other candidate is like that. Everybody, some of these candidates, you put a camera up in front of them, and they look like they're in a hostage video. They look like you're
Yes.
being forced to say something.
Yes.
And so I think that combined with your reputation for being extremely knowledgeable in the debates and
Yes.
you're sort of coming out on top in that regard is the reason why I choose to endorse you.
Thank you, Scott.
So
Thank you so
yeah.
much. Thank you so much.
So what's one thing about running for office that people would find surprising or that you would think that people would find interesting?
Uh, like in regards to me or in regards to
Just well, politics is crazy,
yes,
especially in Fort Bend. It's
yes,
like a blood sport.
yes,
I mean, the Republicans beat each other up in the primaries probably far worse than they do the Democrats in
yes,
the general.
yes.
And so it's just nuts. I always wonder if there's any some crazy factor thing that's interesting about that would be interesting to know.
Well, I mean, whoever is watching in this is, I mean, politics is not rocket science.
Yeah.
I think you need to be true to yourself and you need to know uh, within yourself what the mission is.
Yes.
And I have seen that every candidate whose mission is to genuinely serve the people
Uh huh.
in whatever capacity or whatever office they're running for, I've seen them being very successful.
Yeah.
I've seen them, winning. I've seen them, serving the people
Hmm.
with the only intention of ultimately making those people happy. And like we touched earlier, regardless of what those people's backgrounds are.
Yeah.
And then, of course, running a political campaign, you need to have an outline, just like a marketing person or a businessman,
Yeah.
of how big the project is
Hmm.
and what are the milestones and how are you going to check those milestones and what do you need to achieve until during those when you reach the milestones and to check if you achieve those goals and objectives
Hmm.
and just move on from there, and I'm very glad and very humble and very thankful to God
Yeah.
that everything that we have planned since December of
Uh huh.
2022
Hmm.
to 13 months of completion of our campaign so far. Uh, Again, God is great. Thanks to God, everything has just fallen right in place with uh, our strategies, with the support from people, with
Uh
the
huh.
support from organizations, with the support of financial support from
Hmm.
individuals, the endorsements that we have received, our campaign has received, the help that we're continuing to receive with
Hmm.
individuals actually calling or texting or messaging or messenger uh, saying that hey, I need 5 signs, I need 9 signs, I need 11 signs, I need
Hmm.
25 signs.
Yeah.
It's just that shows that your base is just growing.
Yes.
Your base is slowly but surely growing. Where there are people that I have never actually met in
Hmm.
certain neighborhoods, uh, because there's just no way that I can touch 900,000 people in Fort Bend County,
Oh, yeah.
even if I had 4 years to do that individually. But
Mhm.
I will tell you this: I have touched 12,000 individuals
Oh, wow.
personally
Mhm.
during our whole block walking process.
That's good.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, listen. Hey, thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you so much, Scott, for
Yeah.
everything. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, and thank you for giving this opportunity. It means a lot. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to our campaign.
Yeah. I
Thank you.
love the way you're running your campaign. I'm in your corner. I really want you to win.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott.
Thanks.
That all men are created equal.
I'm not a crook. You are saying, sir.